Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful and the specially merciful. Dear viewers and watchers everywhere across the globe, I greet you. I greet you with the best greeting on this planet. I brought it especially for you. And I spend my time to know what is the best, and I brought it for you. So the best greeting for you, I share it with you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be unto all of you. Ameen, ameen. Dear viewers across the globe, welcome to this program. Welcome to Treasures from the Holy Quran. Please take some verses, learn some verses, study them very well, and share them with others. Dear viewers, this is our intention. This is my particular intention. I'm quite sure that a lot of the audience share this because people are very thirsty for knowledge, particularly the knowledge, authentic knowledge that was sent to us from Almighty Allah. So take this kind of knowledge, this kind of treasure, and share it with others. Dear viewers, today we are going to talk about some people who are specialized in arguments. Some people love to argue. And this kind of argument is good, is relatively okay. Is it bad? What are the things that we are supposed to argue and ask about? Argue. Some people spend few minutes in argument. Some people spend more than this or less. Some people argue about anything around them. Some people argue after they make research and discussion and they come ready for the discussion and for the argument. Some people are not the same. Some people discuss and are involved in arguments without background knowledge, just they love arguing. Just they argue for the sake of argument. Perhaps in some school, they encourage people and motivate them to discuss and argue. This may be good in a linguistic sense, in order to exercise and practice your linguistic ability, whatever language you are learning. It applies to all languages because this is one of the effective tools of learning a language. But is argument in general and in specific when you argue about things that had been revealed from Almighty Allah, is it something recommended for me, for you, for any of the audience? Or is it something that's not recommended? Argument. Some people may write books about the art of argument. Wow, what a topic. Let's see. Let's see what Islam says, which is the most important thing for us is Islam. What does Allah say about argument? Particularly when you argue about statements from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you have the knowledge and the ability to argue about issues that had been sent down to us from Almighty Allah? Do you have the ability to argue without knowledge? And is your knowledge authentic? Had been authenticated by scholars? How much time have you spent in making research to make your argument sound good? These are all questions that we think of them. And now we think more and more and more. How many times I have been involved in argument without being ready, without verifying my background knowledge. how dangerous this issue is when I talk about Islamic issues that are revealed to us by Almighty Allah, given to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we have learned it, and they are in the Quran. Let's see. This verse that we are reading tells us something about argument. This is chapter number 22. It's called Surah Hajj, pilgrimage. And this is ayah number 8 and ayah number 9. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن الناس من يجادل في الله بغير علم ولا هدى ولا كتاب منير ثاني عطفه ليضل عن سبيل الله له في الدنيا خزي ونذيقه يوم القيامة عذاب الحريق. Very scary at the end of it. عذاب الحريق, the torture of hellfire. The rough translation is, and among men, among humans, is the one he who disputes and argues about Allah without knowledge or guidance, or without a book giving light to him from Almighty Allah. Bending his neck in pride, far astray from the path of Allah, and leading others too far astray from the path of Allah. For him, there is a disgrace in this worldly life, and on the day of resurrection, we shall make him taste the torment of burning of fire. And among people, we have 7.7 billion humans are living. Among them, some of them, maybe the majority, maybe the minority, some of them, among them, there are people who love to dispute about Allah. Who is Allah? How did He make the creation? What is He is going to do then? And all these questions, you can raise hundreds and thousands of questions about this topic. Some people love to argue, but the problem is all those who argue and dispute, they argue without knowledge. They don't have any knowledge. They don't have any guidance. No messenger guided them. And they don't have any book that they base their argument on it. So some people, among the humans that are living nowadays, they love to discuss issues and dispute. They are willing to fight with you, argue and raise their voice, and they bring you this book, and they say the other author have done this, and they, oh, hey, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You are talking about Allah. You are not talking about an issue that's a daily issue that happens in our life every day. You are talking about the creator of this universe. What evidence do you have? Do you have any book that had been sent down to any messengers of Allah that you can base your argument on? Do you have any guidance from Allah to base your disputes upon? Some people have this nature, unfortunately. Their main goal is not reaching the truth. The people can argue and can ask questions. I have a doubt in my heart. Can you provide me with an evidence? I want to know the truth. This is okay. A lot of people, and you see them on the screens and the big screens. You see them everywhere on the internet, unfortunately. Some people, and some people you can share with me, they are not few, they are many humans. This is their nature. Talking and talking and talking and disputing and disputing and disputing just to say that I am God. I am okay. I understand. And their main goal is to deviate others. They are so arrogant, full of arrogance, and they can bend the texts. They can twist the texts. They are very skillful in their discussion and their disputes. And in most cases, apparently you say that he is okay or she is okay. And they are not. They have arrogance in their hearts. They just want to argue. They don't want to reach the truth. They are a lot. They fill the world nowadays, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you find them everywhere on TV screens and on TV computers, on the screens of the computers. They are everywhere. And here is their end. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about them? What will happen to those people? Two things will happen to them. In this world, in this life that we live in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that we will disgrace them. This is the punishment for them in the world while they are living. They will be disgraced. And you can mention some names and you can see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala disgraced them. Because they talk about nonsense. There is no sense in what they say. This is their punishment in this life. To be disgraced, to be in big shame. And people will start even neglecting them, and because of their bad disputes about this issue, this very critical issue about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is their punishment in life. And their punishment hereafter, in the hereafter, is عذابul hariq, torment of hellfire. Their punishment will be hellfire. And hellfire is for eternity. I'm quite sure if you have read the Quran, you will be so scared about this. And that's why it's better for you. If you are not qualified in this kind of argument, don't argue. Don't participate. Keep away from that. Leave others. If you don't have authentic knowledge, if you don't have verified knowledge, if you don't have any guidance from the Book of Allah or from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, if you have not asked a lot of Scholars, if you have not done your homework, if you have not asked many scholars, keep away from the topic if you are wise. Anyone who is not wise can be involved in it. They talk and talk and talk and talk, and they think that because they are on the screen, they are stars. No, they are not. They are, in reality, foolish stars, because they talk about an issue that will lead them to torment in hellfire, but they're not aware. If you read this verse, you will know, and this will teach you how to be away from these disputes and from these arguments, to be on the safe side at least, let alone here. You are following the guidelines from Allah subhanahu. Be away from that. Don't put yourself in this situation. Let the matter for the scholars to do this job. It's not your job. How many tips, how many pieces of advice for you in this matter, in this issue. And it is very clear in the Quran. If you want to be on the safe side, be away from that. Unfortunately, a lot of people still fall into this trap. And this is one of the traps of the shaitan. He drags you, he pulls you here and to be involved in these arguments and in these disputes. And the shaitan is inviting you to something that he, of course, knows that it will lead you to hellfire, because he needs some company in hellfire, and you know it. And you are not one of those who can be easily dragged to hellfire. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us away from these disputes and arguments that's about Allah and about His creation. Ameen, ameen. We take our guidelines from the Holy Quran. We do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this guidance, and we ask Him to firm our hearts, to fix our hearts and footsteps on the truth until we die and we meet Him on the Day of Judgment. Ameen, ameen. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وصل اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.